Hello everyone, how are we doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Golf Cart Garage. I am Tim. We come here every Tuesday. It is Tuesday, December the 10th at 12 noon Central Time. We come here every Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time and we go live on Facebook and YouTube and we talk about golf carts. And that's what we're going to do today. It is Taco Tuesday. Let me check and make sure we're running good on all platforms. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Let me check Facebook, we're good. YouTube looks like we're rolling. Might get a, what was I going to say there? How is the volume, by the way? How is the volume? Is volume cool? Let me know on somebody from both platforms, on YouTube and Facebook, while I'm checking just to make sure. Joe Foster says great. Okay, volume good. Thank you. Thank you there, Joe and Daniel. Audio good. Cool. I definitely found the right volume knob then, because I'm not having to talk real loud. So that's good. David Irwin says it's great. Kevin Salyer, what's going on? Let me back up here. First, let me do this. I am a member of the Gearheads on Demand service that we offer at Golf Cart Garage. If you feel like you need to speak with me one-on-one about a specific golf cart issue, I will be glad to try and help you. It is a paid service, and if I cannot help you, you will be refunded. So don't think that if I can't help you that you're going to get stiffed. Here is the pricing points: 30-minute call and for a 60-minute call. Or you can always join us here every Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time and try to get your question in. We got lots of people in the room, and I'll do my best to get to your question here. It's a little more difficult to get, especially to get into detail here. But this might be another way that we can take it in steps if you would like. And I'll do the best I can to get to your question. All right. Now we'll go over here. Galactic Technology, Daniel was the first one. David Irwin, good afternoon. Hope you have a great day. Thank you, sir. H. Hasselhoff, I wanted to be first. Looks like on my screen, H. Hasselhoff, you were third. Gene Henson, what's going on, Gene? Helpless in Arkansas, 53. Yeah, it's beautiful today in Arkansas. Beautiful day. Got some clouds, but they look like they're thin, so I think they might be burning off, but it's a beautiful day. Larry Consley, hello, Tim 46 in southern Indiana and raining. Merry Christmas to all. Greg Elliott, 65 for the high. Rain to snow this week, then back to winter tomorrow. Joe Foster, Merry Christmas, everyone. 61 Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Hey, time for Taco Tim, Tuesday. Kurt, what's going on, Kurt? Don Bortel, it's sunny and 57 in the greater Tucson area. D-Max is congratulations again. D-Max was our latest winner of the bag of swag. Hey Tim, thanks for the email. Can't wait to get my hat. Yep, I'll send you a tracking number as soon as I do. It's my fault that it was a delay in the tracking. I got busy and then finally remembered that I was supposed to get in touch with you and get an address, and I forgot to check my email. So it was a lot of things, but it's still going through. Don't you worry. We're going to get it to you, bro. Helpless says volume is great. Joe Foster says great. Galactic Technology volume good. Greg good, it's great. Good afternoon, all fellow carters. Kevin Salyer, what's going on, Kevin? Oh, Kevin, I'm going to show your tank. Well, I don't want to give it away. I'm going to show your picture. I already gave it away. I'm going to show your golf cart picture today. So I've got it queued up in OBS. Or Ayman helped me get it queued up. Bruce, hello from Westfield, Wisconsin. Definitely not skateboard weather this week in the southeast. Now, Rob. Yep, it is definitely not, huh? Jerry Kelly, hello, Tim. What's going on, Jerry Kelly? Okay, my wife says everything's good on Facebook as far as volume. That's cool. Bruce says, I got a 95 E-Z-GO Medalist that takes off really fast when you apply the throttle. Any idea why it does this? Electric or gas, Bruce? Rich Eastmain, foggy 54 degree in Machipongo, Virginia. Machipongo is as fun to say as Larry La Cucaracha. Just think if Larry La Cucaracha was from Machipongo. That would be funny. Bruce, electric 36. Okay, so it's a 95 electric 36. All right, so in 95, it's an E-Z-GO Medalist, so it's a TXT or a Marathon. It's going to be a TXT in 95. So that means you have an ITS under the floor mat. If it takes off really fast when you apply the throttle, I would be suspecting the ITS under the floor mat on that particular electrical system, because the ITS is the device. It's difficult to get to, especially in an older Medalist, because those screws that you're going to have to take up to get that floor mat off are going to give you some problems, because they're going to be rusted if you've never done it before. I mean, I don't know if you have or not, but that's what it sounds like to me. That would be the first place that I would be going, would be the ITS. What can happen to them is when they fail, I have seen them fail in a way where the cart will lunge, just start lunging forward when you try to take off. I've seen them just take off wide open. I've seen them, everything is fine, and then they start going way fast and way slow. There's lots of different ways that they can fail, but a few times that I've seen the failure, I've pulled out the ITS and examined it, and it had a hairline crack it's supposed to be sealed, but it can develop a hairline crack, and moisture and water can get in there and cause some of that erratic behavior. Okay, Bruce, I see. Let me get these other people here, then I'll revisit it just a second. Benny Russell, 67 in Athens, Alabama. What's going on, Benny? Greg Elliott. Okay. Big Mike, what's going on, Big Mike? Okay, Bruce says he tried the ITS, does the same thing. Did you get an ITS, one of the real cheap ones from Amazon? Because that's really the thing that I would be looking at. Other than that, there's nothing else in the electrical system that I can think of that would cause it to do that, except for maybe the controller. I've never seen a controller that's stuck on wide open, you know. So it's on that particular car, it's always been the ITS. But the only other thing, I mean, your solenoid's not going to do it, wiring's not going to do it, nothing like that is going to be able to make the car do that, except for ITS and possibly controller. I mean, that would be the only thing. And Craig, what's going on, Craig? Larry England. OEM, okay, so you did get an OEM. Well, that's good, all right. So if we've eliminated the ITS because you did an OEM, there's really nothing else that it could be except for a controller. And I can tell you this, on that particular electrical system, if we're talking stock controller, that'd be the first time I've ever seen that. I've seen half power controllers. I've seen controllers that would lose forward or reverse on shunt wound motors, not series wound, because controller doesn't have anything to do. Your controller has nothing to do with forward and reverse on that particular electrical system, because that's a series wound. But that'd be the first time I've ever seen one controller stuck on WOT, which would be wide open throttle. But not to say that it couldn't happen, you know, just because I haven't seen one get stuck on WOT. I mean, it's always been, in my case, it's always been the ITS that would send the signal to the controller to go WOT. Raining in Atlanta, Rock Dog. What's going on, Rock Dog? Craig says OEM parts do have issues out of the box sometimes too. Well, that's something to worry, just something else to worry about for sure. Let me check this Facebook. Good on Facebook. Jerry, new subscriber to your channel. I just acquired Craig. Oh, it's another Craig. Okay, I got you. This Craig. Who is Jerry? My name is, if you're talking to me, my name is Tim. This new Craig. Subscriber to your channel. Just acquired a 1980s Mielex model 412 with 2-year-old battery, but not running. Any information you can share to help me get started on this project? Okay, 1980, so that's going to be a series wound car, Mielex with 2-year-old batteries, 412. This Craig, I'll have to say Craig 35 for the other, or Craig G for you, other Craig, and then this is just straight up Craig. No, it's no problem, Craig. I just wasn't sure if you were asking me because there's someone else in the room named Jerry. I thought maybe you might be talking to them. But anyway, does the solenoid click when you try to drive it? When you turn the key on and touch the accelerator pedal, does the solenoid click when you try to go? That would be my first question, because a 1980s Mielex is going to probably be a resistor car. Is that not correct? It's not a controller car, it's a resistor car. And if you don't know what I mean by that, that's going to be the first thing that you're going to have to get straight on your project journey. You're going to have to decide, or you're going to have to know whether or not this is a controller car or a resistor car. And if it's 1980s, it's most likely a resistor car. Just checking on Facebook there. Daniel Torello locked out and caught the show lucked out. Okay, cool. Hey Daniel, what's going on? Craig, a resistor car will have this large row of big coil resistors. They're like about that big. They're about as big as your fist. You know, there's going to be some resistors somewhere, and they get really hot when the car is running right. They're supposed to, though. A controller car is not going to have any of those big coil resistors, and it's going to have a big box where all your main power cables go to after they leave the batteries, and the ones coming from the motor are going to go to. And it would be good to, you know, get your year narrowed down and get a wiring diagram. That's going to be the first thing you need to do. A couple of places you can look for a wiring diagram for an older car. One of the places on the internet that I use a lot to look for wiring diagrams and different things for older cars is VintageGolfCartParts.com. They have some good wiring diagrams for some older cars, including Mielex. So VintageGolfCartParts.com. Go there and check for a wiring diagram. If they don't have what you need, you might go to one of the golf cart forums and find your wiring diagram for, you know, for your particular car. One of the main forums is buggiesgonewild.com. Go there and see if you can find the wiring. There will be a Mielex section at that forum. Frankie Monaco, what's going on? Rich Eastman, that was Craig's first as a solenoid click. I can't wait for him to hear Let's See. There's going to be a Let's See here today, Rich, because I got to show some pictures. So I will have to break this out today at one point. Bam! Oh, and bam! Yeah. Daniel Torello, I've been dying to ask about out-of-round tires. How common is this? What's the solution? That's actually, Daniel, we talked about that. You might not have been here, but we've talked about that several times here. You are not the only one that has run into that, including myself. I have run into that before. I had to refund a customer because he called after I sold him a set of tires and rims. He called and said his golf cart's jumping now. It's jumping up and down at speed. And I said, what do you mean? I said, well, he says, I don't know. Just I put the tires on, and now it's jumping up and down at speed. So we brought it back to my shop, and I spun the tires, you know, pulled them off the ground, spun the tires, and put me a reference, like I had a little reference stick beside the tire, and looked at a stationary reference and watched that tire go up and down. There was, you know, and every one of them was slightly out of round. And so we overinflated them, put them in the sun. There's all kinds of little tricks that you can try to. But see, they're shipped squished. So a lot of the shippers from some of those real inexpensive, and I admit these were very inexpensive tires and rims. So there's lots of little tricks you can try to do to fix it. One of them is put out in the sun, and with them overinflated, and then do the air pressure back to the correct thing and see if it helps any. But we couldn't fix them. They were just straight up out of round. And to me, that's pretty important in a tire, is for it to be round. So that was my last dealings. That was my first and last dealings with that vendor. I'm not going to call them out who it was. They're still around to this day. But they sold me a set of tires that I had to refund the customer's money on. Tim from hey Keith, what's going on? Keith, Tim from Palmetto, Florida, checking in. Sunny and 80. That's some weather I like. Sunny and 80. Okay, Facebook's dragging. It's still rolling, but Daniel says he's had out around tires with more weight on the cart. It's not as noticeable. Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. With more weight, it's not going to be as noticeable. Change your air pressure, because of what you're doing with more weight is that you're just squishing the tire down. So if it's not as noticeable like that, then lower your air pressure in the tires and see if that, because that should be close to the same thing is adding more weight to the car, is what I'm saying. Okay, we better get started on the regular questions here. Oh, if you want to follow us on other platforms, then you can. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook if you haven't already, but you can follow us on these other platforms. I have links running right now. TikTok, Instagram, we're all over the place actually, but we just go live on Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday, like I said. So give us a like and a thumbs up on YouTube and Facebook. Speaking of tires, do larger wheels like 14s and taller tires need balancing? It depends, Rich, how fast are you going in this particular setup? If you're still considered an LSV, which is a low-speed vehicle, we're talking 20 miles an hour or less, then I've never found that balancing was necessary. Now, if you start getting faster, put it this way, my little race car, I did have my tires balanced. I did have them balanced by an automotive shop. I don't know how they did it, but they did it for me. They got weights on them and everything. But it's way over 20 miles an hour. So it just depends on how fast you're talking about. And it'll be up to you to decide, if you have some kind of issue. But an out-around tire is going to be very difficult to balance that. Rob says, when I went to Hawaii, I didn't see one golf cart, but lots of death trap 3-wheel, 2-seat mopeds. What? 3-wheel, 2-seat mopeds. How is that? Yeah, that's probably it is probably a death trap. Like with bigger tires, like a taller, skinny tires or something, some type of. Carts being brought but never registered, never taken. Anyone hear about Tomberlins and those carts being bought but never registered, aka never taken to get title? Tomberlins, they look nice. They've been around for a while. They look like a nice car. Helpless says, talking to Rob about the set of Cushman. I wonder why they wouldn't have golf carts in Hawaii. Ladarius, well, let's just say Ladarius Andrews. What's going on, Ladarius Andrews, on Facebook? What's the best way to run accessories to keep running them off your cart batteries? Don't want less runtime due to accessories. Well, you got a couple of choices there, Ladarius. Some people actually just you can buy one at Walmart, a big separate 12-volt battery, and you can run all your accessories off of that battery, just completely separate from your golf cart system. So you can do it that way. then you're going to have to come up with your own solution on how to charge that 12-volt battery. But little 12-volt chargers at Walmart are cheap too. Get a 12-volt deep cycle marine battery, about the same size as the battery that starts your car. You know, that'd be a group 24, would be fine. That'll run your accessories all day long, and then at the end of the day, hook your charger up and you could charge it that way if you want to. Now also, there's another way you could do it, but this depends on what battery configuration you have in your car. If you have six 6-volt batteries, you could run your accessories off of 2 of those batteries, because 2 6-volt batteries connected negative positive would be a 12-volt connection. If you don't have that set up, you may have to get a voltage reducer that reduces the whole battery pack, 36 volt or 48 volt battery pack, to a usable 12. So you might have to look into voltage reducers. So that's up to you of which route you want to take, but you have to get a usable 12 volts in order to run your accessories, to keep them off of your battery. To keep them completely off your batteries, the 2 ways would be a separate 12 volt battery or a voltage reducer. Okay, so yours is a 48 volt. So a 48 volt using what? 4 12s or 6 8s would be my question. Because with 4 12s, you could run your accessories off of one of those 12 volt batteries if you wanted to. But that's going to be, you know, tapping into your runtime batteries, you know, like you said you wanted to avoid. So the best way would be to get a voltage reducer, because a 48 to 12 volt reducer, and then run your accessories to that. Where am I at over here? Bruce, Rich, coming from the automotive trade, balance didn't come into play until after 50 miles per hour. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just depends on how fast you're wanting to go. Kurt says that's a motorized bicycle. Bruce, tricycle, or rickshaw. Rock Dog Rob, did the mopeds have 2 normal wheels in the front or 1 normal in the rear? I think Ladarius says he's going to run that marine deep cycle. That works. I mean, I did that for a long time. I ran a separate 12 volt battery because I only had a simple stereo that I was wanting to run, and I didn't want to mess with my battery pack, for runtime either. I didn't want to get out of balance, because you can get out of balance if whatever accessories you're hooking, if you use it a lot, like if it's a cool stereo that has a big subwoofer or something in it, that can drain, the battery. So I didn't want to mess with my runtime battery pack either. So that is an option. Just get you a big marine deep cycle battery, and get you a charger for it, a separate charger for it, and then charge it every time you think about it, or every time you use your accessories. What are you running? Just curious. What accessories are you running? Okay. I guess I better get to the regular questions here too. First question is from Walter. First regular question. My E-Z-GO RXV bangs in the rear when I go over big bumps. Does that mean I need new shocks? Well, you need to determine where the noise is coming from. It could mean you have a broken shock, or you've got a messed up bushing in the shock. But I don't know. Let's see. It would be good if you could put a camera or something under there so you could see where the noise. You need to isolate where it's coming from, because it's not. I don't think it's as likely as it's the shock. Is it some kind of bushing or something that's making a noise? It's not sitting real well with the cart and the bump. Number 2. This is from Dexter. Well, it's an RXV, Joe. That's what he said. Let me make sure that I read that correct. Yeah, RXV. They've got coilovers. So are there some spring bushings there? I don't remember. Is there spring bushings on those? It could be. Probably leaf spring bushing. Well, Rock Dog, RXV. Coilovers in the front. Okay, I got you. All right, so they got leaf spring bushings in the rear. Well, if I didn't remember, I get them all confused sometimes. But yeah, if that's the case, it probably is a leaf spring bushing. Number 2 from Dexter. Purchased a 2022 Drive 2 a few months back. The cart wanders and feels unstable, especially at high speeds. It's a weird description, but it feels like I'm balancing on a ball while driving the cart. I've checked tire pressure. See, that's what I was about to say, just right there, just from that description. I understand that description, and I was going to say, it sounds like you might have too much air. It says, I've checked tire pressure, and it's in spec. The tires are stock and running 22 psi. It is not lifted. No damage, and in like new shape. I don't want to know where. I want to know where to go from here. Any help would be appreciated. All right, Dexter. Well, first thing you have to understand is on a stock golf cart with stock 18-inch tires, it's probably 22 psi max pressure. That's probably max pressure. Well, that means that would come into play. You would want 22 psi in there if you had, the cart loaded with what it's designed to do. It's designed to carry 2 big dudes and 2 big sets of clubs and a bunch of beer, and it would probably ride fine with all that weight in it. That's where 22 max pressure would come into play. So if you're not carrying around that much weight, then maybe reduce the pressure and try that a little bit. Yeah, reduce pressure and see if reduce pressure drastically. Like go down to 11 and see if the feeling goes away. Then you'll know you're on the right. You're going down the right road. Let me check Facebook. All right, on Facebook, Pam Brazil. Tim, this is Pam's dad. Oh, okay. We have a 2006 Club Car Transport 48 volt with 8 6-volt batteries. All right, that's cool. When I leave it plugged in, it will fully charge the batteries, then shut off as it should. If I leave it plugged in, it will totally discharge the. If I leave it plugged in, it will totally discharge the batteries. I can unplug the charger and wait a few days and plug it back in to charge the batteries to full charge. Batteries. Does this 2006 Club Car 48? Yeah, that's going to have an OBC. Yeah, not an OBS. OBS is what I'm using to run this chat room. Yes, OBC. It's an onboard computer. So full charging. So if you leave it plugged in, see, that shouldn't happen, because this is what normal operations should be, Pam's dad. With a functioning OBC, all right, you should be able to plug in the charger, and it will fully charge the cart. The needle will drop, it'll jump way over to the right. If it's yeah, 2006, you're most likely going to have a needle on your charger. If not, then I'm going to have questions about what charger you're using. So the needle should jump over to the right, should slowly drop throughout the night, and then it get close to zero, and it'll hang around close to zero for a while, and then boom, it'll shut off, shut completely off. Now, at that point, there's no trickle charge, there's no anything going into the batteries. But if you leave it there with a functioning OBC in a 2006, if you leave the cart there and you walk away and nothing happens with the electricity in your house for 14 days, say 10, 4, 14 days, then the OBC will come back on and recharge your cart again. Okay, but there's never a trickle charge or anything going in there on a 2006. There's not any kind of trickle charge or anything. There's a timer going off, in between the charger and the OBC. They're doing a timer, they're doing a countdown, and in 2 weeks, around 14 days, it should come back on and charge the car. If it's not doing that, then you definitely have an OBC problem. And it wouldn't be uncommon to have an OBC problem. Ladarius says he's running an underfloor light kit, front light bar, and 6 speakers. Well, if you're going to run all that, then make sure you get a good size Marine deep cycle battery. That may or may not be enough to run all of that, and you may end up having to go with the voltage reducer route anyway. But it would be a cheap test. That's going to be the least expensive way to do the test, to see if that battery will run all of that that you're trying to run. Okay, John Modelis. I'm taking a shot in the dark there. John Modelis. Modelisi or Modelis? 2008 Yamaha G29 installed new LED tail lights, and all was fine, including directionals. I then installed a set of LED headlights. The lights work fine, but the directionals don't work. They light up, but don't blink. I actually read something about this. I can't remember where it was, but what it turned out to be was when they installed the LED headlights, and the LED headlights, because they run so easily, because they don't pull near as many amps in order to function, that they didn't have enough resistance for the blinking mechanism to work for the blinkers. So they had to put some type of other resistor in line with it to add some resistance to the line. So the blinkers, I can't remember all the details, but it was something like that. But it's exactly your situation that you're describing. So you might have to look up that. You might have to use the internet and look up what I'm talking about. Go to one of the golf cart forums. It may be one of the golf cart forums. Go to buggiesgonewild.com and see if you can find that under the, something to do with it wouldn't necessarily need to be in the Yamaha G29 section. It would just be in the accessories section where they're talking about installing LED lights. Never would have, the reason that it was unusual, because I never would have thought of that. Never would have thought that just installing an LED light could cause problems with your electrical system. But these light kits have gotten more and more fancy as time has gone on. So Robert Savello, what's going on, Robert? Thank you for joining us. 48 volt club car won't move without a push. 48 volt club car won't move without a push. Well, I'm gonna, I got it right the first time, John Modelis then. Gotcha. Won't move without a push. Well, let me tell you what happens when you're pushing a golf cart. The only thing that moves in an electric golf cart when you push it is the armature in the motor. The armature inside the motor. So if you're touching the accelerator pedal with key on and forward, if you touch the accelerator pedal, solenoid clicks and it still doesn't move unless you push it. The only thing you did by pushing it was you turned that armature in that motor. So in other words, you switched the position of the armature on the existing brushes. The brush contact's position got switched. So I would be suspecting something like that if the solenoid is clicking, and it's not moving and all you do is you have to give it a little push and then it does start moving. The only thing you did was move the armature inside the electric motor just slightly. Let me get back over here. Kirk said, make sure all 4 tires are equal pressure. William Rizzo, hello Tim and good people from the villages. What's going on, William? Warmed up 80 degrees. There's Scoot Coops. It's those Hawaiian 3-wheelers that Rob's talking about. Rock Dog, seen them, not interested. Two skinny tires about a foot apart. Yeah, that sounds like a rollover setup. If you're trying to roll over, that's how. If I was trying to design a machine to roll over, that's how I would design it. That's what it sounds like. Okay. Number 3. I'll speed these up or I'll leave some out if we start to run late. This is from Daryl because I want to get Kevin's picture in. Number 3 from Daryl. Hello, I have a 3-bolt E-Z-GO cart with the big steering box. Lots of play in the steering wheel. When I look under and move the wheel back and forth, don't see anything move until it all moves. Do you think I need to replace both, or is one or the other route to take? Should I replace tie rods? If not corrected, move into the steering box, or should I start with steering box and replace tie rods? Okay, I understand your question there. Well, you got the old style steering with the 3-bolt steering box. I get it. That's exactly what I have on my race car. So you can imagine. Mine's a 96. First of all, you do need to just look up under there and figure out where your slack is coming from. It may take 2 people in order to do this. Have someone sit in the car while you look up under there and have them turn the steering wheel, because you should be able to, well, your tie rods would be easy to eliminate. You can look at your tie rods when they do that. You eliminate that first, that it's your tie rods, because there should be no slack in your tie rods where they connect. There should be 0 slack there. All right. If there is, then you need to tighten up the tie rod ends where they go into the spindle. Now, as far as slack in the steering box, it could be slack in the steering box. There's a gear in there, a rack and pinion type gear that can develop slack. Also on 96s are older with the 3-bolt. I don't know if you've looked up under there yet, but have you seen this? There's this big bronze bushing up under there where the steering box pivots. Where the main steering arm pivots. Well, it pivots, and there's this big bushing. This is definitely a wear point, and the way it shows up when you're looking up under there, and someone starts turning the steering wheel a little bit, you'll see that big steering arm, and it won't necessarily you won't necessarily see slack where you think you would. You'll see it twist a little bit, and that's where the slack is. It could be in this big bronze bushing. So check slack there. And then if not, then yeah, you might have to go you might have to replace the steering box. It wouldn't be unusual on old E-Z-GOs. Howard Rickshaw, to fix the flashing on LED lights by an LED flasher to replace. Okay, Stephen Kuhn, maybe that was it. I knew there was some type of fix they were talking about. They had to get a different flasher that operated off different resistance. Is what I was getting at. So obviously an LED flasher would take a different amount of resistance. So that's probably the answer. Thank you, Stephen. Oh, I have a desk full of visual aids here, Craig. I can't show them all, but I have several. Pam's dad, have you ever ran across a situation where leaving the charger plugged in would accelerate the discharging of the batteries? No, but the only way that I would suspect that was a problem would be in a club car with an OBC. That would be the only way that I could think of that even could occur, because that would not occur on a regular charger unless the relay in the charger was activating and the charger was not coming on. That would be the only way that could accelerate the discharging. So you need to make sure that the charger's coming on. That would be one of the things that I would do when you plug it into the cart. Well, take a voltage reading off of the battery pack without the charger plugged in, and take a reference voltage reading. Plug the charger in while you're sitting there with your voltmeter on the battery pack, and make sure that the charger's coming on. The way that you make sure the charger's coming on is you're going to watch the volts start rising on your voltmeter. The volts just start rising. If they don't, so you got to understand there is a relay in that charger that clicks. All right, it clicks and then the charger comes on. So if that relay's clicking and the charger does not come on, then that could explain some discharging going on. So that's what I would want to check for there first. Let me know if that made sense. I still say use a dry erase board and get your Bob Ross on. I know that, dude. I know what you're talking about. I'd be drawing, if I used a dry erase board, I'd probably be drawing pictures of solenoids every day, or on every episode. Okay, still rolling here. That was number 4. This is from Jericho. I have a G1 cart. The engine's no good, but I have a Harbor Freight new 16 horsepower engine. I've made some of these conversions before with G9, but does the G1 go in reverse by engine going backwards? If that's so, I still may do the conversion but forego reverse. Is there a workaround for getting reverse? Maybe someone has a G9 tranny or anything that works like a tranny. Need help from you, Jericho. First of all, that is the reason that the title of this episode is what it is. Best golf cart ever made. Gas G1. Best golf cart ever made, hands down. You ask any mechanic, and if Jeffrey was still with us, Jeffrey Schmidt, if he was still with us, he would agree with me because he and I already talked about this. A gas Yamaha G1 is hands down, from a mechanical point of view and longevity point of view, the best golf cart ever made. And I don't even care if people don't agree with me. If you don't agree with me, then you've never had one, because I still have one. Mine's 36 years old. You could have one as old as 39 years old. Okay, now the answer to the question is yes. A G1 gas does not have a transmission. The motor actually spins backwards in order to go in reverse. Now, because they have such a large following, I would be wondering why you would want to go that route and try to get a G9 with a tranny and do all those modifications. Why don't you fix what you got? That's what people are still doing. That's why there's so many of them still running around. There's so many of these over 30-year-old G1s running around. It's because they're a good cart. You can still get the engine parts for that engine. You can even send that engine off and have it rebuilt. A lot cheaper, a lot less trouble, a lot less fabrication, and you can get it back going like it was supposed to. There are several outlets for G1 engine parts, nowadays. There's even more than there used to be. There's even more than there used to be. It used to be hard, the parts were hard to find, but so many people requested it, you started having people take note and start manufacturing their own G1 parts. Plowman's Carts may have what you need. I know I've given a lot of people some plugs today, but Plowman's Carts has some good parts for G1s. I would recommend, that's what I would recommend. I'd recommend just fixing the engine you got is the bottom line. I think that would be the easiest way to do it. And a whole new rebuilt engine you can get for somewhere between $600 and $800. You send yours as a core, it gets shipped back to you. Motors and More in Georgia, another place that does that kind of stuff. I get all these places in my dealer magazine. I get a dealer magazine and it has all these different places. They tend to be in Georgia. There's a lot of people in Georgia that rebuild golf cart engines, including G1s. And they take yours as a core, and then by the time they give you core credit and everything, your engine comes back to you with a warranty, and you've spent somewhere between $600 or $800. You got a warranted engine, drop it in, hook it up and go. But I wouldn't worry with the tranny idea, even though that's probably possible, especially if you get the whole transaxle out of a G9 or something like that. I'm not saying it's not possible. It just sounds like that might be a lot more trouble than fixing the engine that you got. Slacking steering my cart, he rusted the frame. Yes, it was a beach cart. Frankie Monaco, can you show it? Can I show what? My G1? I've showed it before. Well, right now my truck is in the way. Oh, did y'all know Dino's here? Can you see him? Dino man. Dino. He's asleep behind me. Yamaha, Kurt. Yamaha G1. That's their G1 was Yamaha's first attempt at a golf cart. But you have to understand, at that time, 89. No, they went from 1979 to 1989. They had a 10-year run, which a lot of models had a 10-year run. But if I could go back in time, I would buy many of them, and I did at one point. I actually did buy 10 of them at one time years ago, and sold them all except for the one that I still have, that I still use to this day. But no fuel injected. No, they're not fuel injected. They're two-stroke. Yeah, he is. He moved a little bit. Dino. There he is. What you doing, biggin? Huh? You all right? He probably doesn't understand, you know, who am I talking to? On each battery. When the charger comes on, the voltage will go from 6.1 to 7.2 approximately on each battery. Well, 7.2, you got a different system where you have 6 volts. Yeah, you got 6 volts, so that makes sense. Yeah. That means the charger is coming on. Well, the voltage will go from 6.1 to 7.2 approximately on each battery. Yeah, that means the charger is coming on. So I don't have any explanation for the discharge stuff that you were talking about, except for maybe OBC issue. That would be odd, because I wanted to eliminate that charger, you know, that in the relay clicking. So you verified that when the relay clicks, the charger is coming on. So I'm leaning back now. I'm going back toward. You must have an OBC issue there. If what I described as normal operation is not happening. Number 5. We're going to shut it off after this question because I want to show Kevin's picture, and we're running a little bit late today, so we're going to shut it off after this question. Number 5 is from Ryan A. I have a 1996 G16 that is idling after the ignition is turned off. I took out the carburetor, cleaned it, and put it back in and fired right away, but had a huge backfire, and now it won't stop idling even when I turn the key off. The only way to get it to stop is unplug the battery. Huh. Well, Ryan, you got two things in that circuit that are supposed to shut the starter off. One of them is the key, so I'd first be ohming out the key. You know, you got to figure out how to do an ohm test, continuity test. With your voltmeter, you need to figure out how to do a continuity test on the key itself to see if it's going on and off like it's supposed to. That's one thing in the circuit. Another thing in the circuit there that's supposed to stop the starter generator from spinning is the pedal stop switch under the floor mat. Or on a Yamaha G16, it's real easy to take the floor mat up. Another good thing about Yamahas is that they thought about how easy they wanted the floor mat to be taken up, and they left the access panel no tools in order to get to the pedal stop switch. Just take the access panel, just remove it. The floor mat actually holds the access panel in place, which is good, very good. Makes it easy for the mechanic to work on it. Then you'd have to check that pedal stop switch and ohm that out, do a continuity test on that also. It's just a 2-wire switch, just like the key. So those two things are in the circuit. I'd want to eliminate those right off the bat and make sure that you didn't have one of those that's sticking or staying on. Greg Elliott says, love the side-eye Dino gave you, Tim. Yep, he's wondering why I'm interrupting his nap. He sleeps quite a bit in the day. he probably, my wife and I have figured it out. Well, he's about to turn in January next month. I keep forgetting how old. It's either 14 or 15. I think he's turning 14 in January. He's turning 14. So he does a lot of sleeping, but don't think that boy can't get around. I know he doesn't look like it. He gets around just fine. And when he's excited and he gets to go on his walks, he gets around like a young man. He can't really run too fast, but he can run. He can run. He's got metal knees. He's had metal knees since he was about 6 or 7. He's had metal knees, so he's had those for years. So it's very likely he might have some arthritis going on that's keeping him from being able to actually, run fast. But he can run. Yep, he gets around good. He blew both his knees out and had to have surgery on both of them. I'm not sure if we got that loan paid off yet or not. Craig wants to know second best cart. Okay, then I would have to ask gas or electric, because if we're going to let's stick with gas. Yamaha G1 is a very, very good cart. Gas, excellent. That's why there's so, like I said, that's why there's so many of them still running around. But I tell you what, another good car is that I have a lot of experience with, because I actually used to work for Club Car for a short period of time. I actually worked directly for Club Car for a little while. And I had a lot of experience with Club Car DS gas with the FE 290 Kawasaki. That is a pretty good setup. That is a good car. FE 290 Kawasaki and a Club Car DS. That's a pretty good gas car. And if I had to pick a second place, now you got to understand, I don't have experience with everything out there. Like there's some other Yamaha 4-strokes that are good too. A G2 or G9 4-stroke Yamaha, that's a good car. I had a G2 for a long time. It's a good car. So if we're going to talk about gas, I've got a couple that I would want to throw in there for second best. Mason, what's going on? Drive tube, fuel injected, and independent rear suspension. Like in newer cars, I would pick that one, because I can tell you this: if I was looking for a new car today, then I would be looking at independent rear suspension Yamahas. There's no doubt about it. I would be looking at that. Greg says the best car is the one that's operational. Oh yeah, the one that's not broken. Yeah, that is a good car. The one that's not broken. My wife says Dino is turning 14 in January, so he is turning 4. So he's basically 14 right now, because we're well into December. I think it's January 4th or January 6th, something like that is his birthday. 90. Jim Bob says he's got a 93 FE 290 Club Car. That's a good setup. A good setup. They last. You change the oil, change the air filter, fuel filter, spark plug in that, and those things, I've seen some that ran perfect, that were many years old. Maybe not quite as old as G1s, that run perfect, because my G1 runs perfect. It's an 86. It absolutely runs perfect. Tilly is not as old as Dino. Tilly is, golly, is she 4? Maybe my wife will answer on Facebook. My wife is watching on Facebook. I think Tilly is 4. She's in her prime, and oh my God, you talk about fast. She is something else. She is fast as a deer. Her DNA came back as Tilly's DNA came back as Great Dane and Lab mix, and I don't know if how many times she's been on the air here, but if you look at her, she definitely looks like a small Great Dane. Her body structure and the way that she is designed is just like a Great Dane. I mean, but smaller. She's not that big. She's actually weighs about the same as Dino. They're both about 70 pounds. Rich Eastman, does G1 have oil injection or does it use premix? They all have oil injection. A lot of people disconnect that because they're scared about it. Mine's still running oil injection. Mine's over 30 something years old, and I'm still running the oil injection. Never had a problem with it. But a lot of people block that off and they go with premix. If you'll read, and I have a service manual, if you read in the service manual, the oil injection on a G1, the ratio varies with engine RPM. It's constantly changing. So there's not a specific ratio of oil, that you could pick for premix. So you have to pick something in the center. A lot of people run 100 to 1, believe it or not, because the ratio goes up to 300 to 1, depending on the RPMs that you're running on the engine. So it's uses very, very little oil for a two-stroke. Kirk, I think Tilly's been in here, especially on Halloween. I'm sure because Tilly dressed up as Wonder Woman. She's got a Wonder Woman costume. Dino's got a Gator costume, and Tilly's got a Wonder Woman costume. But I'll bring her in here sometime. Shoot. Yeah, Tilly. She's been here. She's black with white on her chest. But yeah, she can make an appearance. All right, let's go ahead and get to these pictures. Kevin Salyer sent me some pictures. Kevin and Big Mike, they do all kinds of stuff for the kids in the neighborhood with their golf carts. They go all out. So I'm assuming this was for Halloween. Kevin, if you're still here, tell me if this was for this year's Halloween, that what you sent. So this is what Kevin did for Halloween. You ready for this? Let's see some pics. Here we go. Bam! Check that out. I don't even remember what kind of golf cart Kevin has that's under there, but that's a tank. I bet the kids love that. I bet they really did. I bet they got a kick out of that. But that's cool. I like how you did the tracks. Can barely even see anything of the original cart. That is cool. 2017. Okay, so there's a 2017 E-Z-GO TXT up under there. Did the kids like it? Check Facebook over here. Oh yeah, my wife said Tilly is 4.5. So she is definitely in her prime physically. I wish I had I've got video of Dino running when he, before he messed his knees up. But I wish I had a video of Tilly running because man, she can run. She can run like a deer. Looks like a Yamaha G Abrams. Somebody has way too much free time on their hands. No, they loved it. We passed out candy and army men. Oh, cool. That's cool. Send them in, Rock. I don't get as many pictures as I thought I would. So send them in to 00timfreeman@gmail.com. Send me some pictures, y'all. And I will definitely feature them here. But that's cool. Kevin and Big Mike go all out for the kids on Halloween. All right. Let's run the coupon before we get out of here. This is the active coupon. You can get 5% off any parts you order at golfcartgarage.com if you use this coupon. The newest active coupon is TIM27. TIM27. This expires on January the 3rd. So this is a good coupon through Christmas. Get 5% off any parts you order if you use TIM27. Frankie, I'll do that. I've shown them before, but I am going to do, because I got some parts coming in for this one, and I'll go through that one as soon as I get the parts in it. And the race car, I've got some parts taken out of it right now because I'm making some adjustments. I may have some more parts coming into it, but when I do, it'll be good. But when I show them, it'll be good. It'll be a good episode, because I could do a whole episode on just the race car, even though it's very simple. Once you understand key switch, I think I've said before, my whole race car is based off the wiring diagram of an E-Z-GO Marathon. And the reason that is because I needed to use a 0 to 5K potentiometer. Okay, some of you may understand why that is, but I needed to be able to use a 0 to 5K potentiometer in an E-Z-GO TXT. An E-Z-GO TXT does not come with that. It comes with ITS, which is not 0 to 5K, but I needed 0 to 5K because there's many controller options that can take 0 to 5K. There's not near as many controller options that can take ITS. So at the voltage I wanted to run and the things I wanted to do, it just made it a whole lot easier to switch it over to a 0 to 5K potentiometer. So anyway, after that, E-Z-GO Marathon wiring diagram is, the whole thing's based off of that. Short video of the Village Street Rod on my YouTube channel. William Rizzo did. Okay, that was the coupon. You got mail. Okay, cool, Rock. Appreciate it. Here's a contact number for a Golf Cart Garage. Besides my email address, there's support@golfcartgarage.com. There's the phone number. If you need to contact us for any reason, let us know how we're doing. Let me know how I'm doing. I mean, whatever you'd like to do. Just if you need to get in touch with us, there's contact information. If you'd like to buy a hat, you are welcome to. Here are the hats that we have available. There are some links. Oh, y'all see my new ring? You know my black one that I had? It finally broke. I've had it for years, but it finally broke. And apparently there's a bunch of competition out there now. When I got that black one, there wasn't a whole lot of them, silicone rings for men out there, but now there are. So I got a package of different colors and everything, so I'm good to go now. That was the hat graphic and the contact information and the coupon. I've shown Kevin. Okay, also it's if you're thinking of going lithium, we sell eco lithium batteries at golfcartgarage.com. So if you're thinking of going lithium, the eco batteries are 10% off, across the board right now. 10% off on ecos. Also, we've got a special going on. I talked about this last time. If you spend a bunch of money with the Golf Cart Garage, like over $21.99, and I mean $2,199, so that would be that would be an order of maybe if you got a lithium setup for your car, you got a rear seat kit, maybe got some tires and rims. If you're really thinking about doing some really crazy stuff to your car, it'd be easy to spend $21.99. If you do that, if you have an order that large, you will get a free Amazon $100 gift card you can use for anything you want at Amazon. Also, we talk a lot about Summit 2 chargers on this channel because they're very good chargers by Lester. We sell those at Golf Cart Garage. They are our 1050 watt model. So you got to understand there's a 650 watt model and there's a 1050 watt model. The 1050 watt model is $50 off. So just to let you know that. The Ecos come with everything you need there, Ron. They don't have a screen, but they come with a battery gauge. I mean, because they're cart specific. You can order an Eco battery for your specific cart, so you get all the mounting brackets and everything you need for that particular cart. Peace out, Dino. He's still with me. Dino Man. Yeah, see, he's still with me. He's hanging in there. Can't find your finger in the dark, you got problems. Yep. Let me check over here on Facebook. Yep, that we're good. All right, that's also go to golfcartgarage.com, where our garage sale is still going on, where we have some items in there that you might be interested in that are at a reduced price. So look for anything that says garage sale. There should be some discounted items in there that we still have a few things, so check that out. All right, guys, I will see everybody. We have, believe it or not, we're going to have one more episode next week before Christmas, and then we won't have an episode on the next Tuesday, because that is going to be Christmas Eve. I think I'm off on that day, but I'm not 100% sure. But we're definitely not going to have one on. Let's see, Christmas Day is on a Wednesday, so I know I'll be off that day. I'm not sure about Christmas Eve yet, so I don't think there'll be a show then. But we will have a show next week. We will have a show on the 17th. So thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I will see you all in a week on Taco Tuesday of next week. The garage is now closed.